already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6.
The WNBA Finals were meant to shine as the ultimate celebration of women's basketball. High stakes, unmatched talent, sold-out arenas, and the climax of a historic season. Instead, it quietly exposed a harsh truth. Without Caitlin Clark, the league struggles to breathe. When A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner stepped onto nearly empty courts, with tickets starting at just $6, the stark reality hit harder than any highlight reel. This wasn't a triumphant championship moment. It was a reminder that the WNBA's heartbeat is tied to Clark's presence. Honestly, I get it. You might be drawn to the surrounding drama, but the actual games? Most of you probably don't even notice. And judging by the ticket sales, it was clear nobody else seemed to care either. What should have been the WNBA's most glamorous, high-profile moment quickly turned painfully awkward. Camera crews couldn't hide the glaring, empty red seats. The echoing dribble of the basketball bouncing through silence. Or the uneasy expressions on players' faces as they realized the crowd, the energy, and the momentum had vanished alongside Clark and the fever. Right now, the WNBA is in full-blown panic. The league's top executives are scrambling. They have no idea what's coming next. I've already shown the numbers highlighting their concern over playoff ratings and network viewership. Without Caitlin Clark to carry the spotlight, they are genuinely uncertain how the figures will hold up or even survive. Tickets were already on deep discount. Black Friday-style deals for playoff seats were live before the games even started. Some teams were practically begging fans to come watch A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner. It was humiliating. These were supposed to be the self-proclaimed queens of the WNBA, champions carrying the banner for women's sports. Yet instead of roaring crowds, they were met with polite golf claps and yawning sections of empty seats. The frustration was impossible to miss. During warm-ups, cameras caught A'ja shaking her head, muttering under her breath, "This is the finals." It wasn't arrogance, it was sheer disbelief. So tell me, why do you think this year's finals turned into such a disaster? Let us know in the comments below. With Dana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and the Mercury facing off against A'ja Wilson and the AC Aces, are you even planning to stay locked in for this series? Yes or no? The poll told the story. Only 4% of Brave fans said yes, while a staggering 96% sided with a resounding no. Meanwhile, Dana Bonner tried to keep her game face, but her post-game words revealed the truth. "You work your whole life for this," she admitted, her voice tight.
"You want to feel the energy, the love, the fans, but just look around." And she wasn't wrong. Even with championship banners hanging high, the arena felt hollow. What was supposed to be the WNBA's biggest night had the energy of a preseason scrimmage. If proof were needed that Caitlin Clark and Fever fans now dominate the fandom, just glance at the ticket prices. On paper, this finals matchup had everything: reigning MVPs, established stars, and playoff storylines. But without the Indiana Fever and Clark, it all fell flat. The excitement that had carried the league all summer evaporated almost overnight when fans checked Ticketmaster and saw prices dropping to single digits, just $6 a seat. It confirmed what everyone had suspected all along: nobody really cared. Now, the league had to confront the numbers on its own. Caitlin Clark had drawn an astonishing 1.8 million viewers for her first playoff game against the Connecticut Sun last season, more than all the other playoff games combined that day. Yet this time, without her, the energy vanished. Even A'ja Wilson, usually the picture of unwavering confidence, looked visibly shaken. For years, she had been the face of the WNBA, but without Clark driving the excitement, even the biggest stars felt the void. A'ja Wilson, long hailed by the establishment, praised by the media, and marketed as the WNBA's gold standard, faced a harsh, unavoidable reality. Caitlin Clark's absence from the playoffs revealed just how much the league's recent popularity depended on her. What was supposed to be a final celebration for Wilson quickly turned into a sobering reality check. Social media wasted no time roasting the league. $6? That's not a finals ticket. That's a parking fee. One fan wrote, Another posted a video of the near-empty arena with the caption, "You chased away the star who filled every seat. Now enjoy the echo." The clip went viral in hours, racking up more views than the official WNBA Finals highlight reel. By comparison, last year's cheapest ticket to see the Indiana Fever at the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2024 playoffs was $133. Let's just say this year's tickets aren't anywhere near that pricey. They're not. And right there, the Indiana Fever felt the impact of Caitlin Clark like a WWE promo, loud, unavoidable, and impossible to ignore. Inside the locker rooms, frustration quickly morphed into anger. Wilson and Bonner weren't just upset about the sparse attendance, they felt betrayed. The league had promised growth, exposure, and bigger crowds, but those fans didn't come for them. They came for Caitlin Clark. She was the draw, the storyline, the phenomenon. Without her, the energy completely deflated. It's like nobody's watching, Wilson admitted after Game 1, visibly shaken. And she was right. Ratings had plunged nearly 50% compared to the semifinals that featured Clark and the Fever. Clips that once dominated social media barely made the trending page this year. ESPN segments that used to break down every Caitlin Clark assist were replaced with reruns of off-season NFL debates. The spotlight had clearly shifted, and the finals were left in the shadows. Think about it. If the Fever and Caitlin Clark had been facing the Mercury, with all the drama that would bring, would a single ticket be priced under $300? Honestly, not a chance. Courtside seats could easily go for $5,000. Clark's presence alone would have transformed the energy and the stakes. Joanna Bonner's post-game words hit even harder. "It's disrespectful," she snapped. "We play hard. We deserve packed arenas." The quote spread like wildfire across social media. While some sympathized, others called it poetic karma. "You mock the
Player who brought the fans," one viral reply read. And now you're wondering where everyone went. The internet didn't hold back, and neither did the fans. They remembered how all season long, veterans like A'ja Wilson and Cheryl Swoops had taken subtle digs at Caitlin Clark, questioning her hype, downplaying her impact, even suggesting fans were only watching because of her background. Now, as Wilson and Bonner gazed out over nearly empty arenas, those same fans saw poetic justice unfold in real time. The players who spent months diminishing Clark's influence were finally witnessing firsthand what the league looked like without her. But even that wasn't the full shock. The viewership for the entire WNBA had plummeted. And this tweet from Christine Brennan caught my attention like a lightning bolt. Christine Brennan wrote, "One player gets injured, and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Sure, golf without Tiger Woods occasionally dipped, but never like this." Her words underscored just how alarming this was for the WNBA, especially during such a crucial year. League officials scrambled for damage control. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelberg released a bland statement praising the competitive spirit of the finals, but no amount of PR spin could mask the real problem. You can't call it growth when championship tickets cost less than a movie ticket. The optics were brutal. For a league that spent the year bragging about sellouts and record-breaking ratings, the finals turnout served as an unflinching wake-up call. Even players from other teams couldn't ignore it on social media. One anonymous WNBA athlete reportedly joked, "It's not the finals, it's open practice with fancier uniforms." That line exploded online, quickly becoming a viral meme. Fans piled on, flooding social platforms with comparisons between Fever regular season games and the finals. One split-screen post showed a packed Gainbridge Fieldhouse during a typical Fever matchup next to the nearly empty finals arena, captioned, "You miss her yet?" Behind the scenes, tension was boiling. Multiple insiders revealed that both A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner privately vented their frustration toward league executives over the botched marketing rollout. They were furious that media coverage had cooled and blamed Angelberg's office for failing to maintain the momentum Caitlin Clark had created. Yet whispers from within the organization suggested a harsher truth. The backlash wasn't just about marketing. It was about the undeniable absence of the league's biggest draw that it all came down to ego. For an entire season, veterans like A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner resisted the idea that Caitlin Clark had transformed the sport. They painted her popularity as fleeting, a media-fueled circus destined to fade. and told fans to respect the pioneers and pay their dues. But standing in half-filled arenas, they were confronted with undeniable proof. This wasn't hype. It was a movement, and they weren't leading it. Tension boiled over during the post-game press conference. When asked about attendance, Wilson tried to stay composed. "We can only control what we do on the court," she said cautiously, before adding, "But we deserve more." Bonner didn't hold back. "You fight all year to get here, and it feels like nobody cares," she snapped. The room fell silent. It was raw honesty, and it exposed just how deep the resentment ran. By the next morning, clips of their remarks had gone viral.
Sports pundits dissected every word, highlighting the irony. Wilson and Bonner, two of Clark's most vocal critics, were now publicly pleading for the attention they once denied her. Even Stephen A. Smith weighed in, saying, "You can't chase away the person who built the house, then complain nobody's visiting." Brutal, but painfully accurate. The backlash hit immediately. Memes flooded Twitter, showing empty stands with captions like $6 Finals Special, "Buy one, bring everyone." Others photoshopped Wilson standing alone in a vacant arena with the words, "Energy, never heard of her." Even ESPN's SportsCenter leaned into the narrative, posting a highlight of Clark's past Fever playoff game on the same night as Game 2 of the Finals. A stark reminder of who truly moved the needle. By Game 2, embarrassment had turned into catastrophe. The league tried giving out free tickets at local shops, but even that couldn't fill the seats. Broadcasts avoided wide shots, sticking to tight angles to hide the empty upper decks, but social media saw right through it. Fans uploaded sweeping panoramic videos of Barron Arena, one caption reading, "The Finals, sponsored by Crickets." Even players with no direct stake in the drama began weighing in. Some called for unity, while others quietly admitted what everyone could see. The Finals lacked the spark only Caitlin Clark could provide. It was a rare moment of brutal honesty that made Kathy Angelberg's job even tougher. The commissioner tried to project calm, praising both teams' resilience and leadership, but her words landed with the weight of a deflated basketball. The half-empty stands told a different story. When Angelberg stepped up for her pre-game press conference, the tension in the room was almost tangible. She opened with canned optimism about historic growth and competitive excellence, but the faces staring back at her said it all. The media wasn't buying it, and neither were the fans at home. The first question hit like a punch. "Commissioner, how do you explain record-low attendance and declining fan engagement during the finals?" Angelberg froze for a beat before forcing a rehearsed smile, blaming scheduling conflicts and football season. The press wasn't fooled. The follow-up question came fast and hard. Isn't this really about how the league mishandled Caitlin Clark's rise and alienated her fans? That was the breaking point.
Angelberg's expression hardened, her tone sharp. "This isn't about one player," she insisted. "We have incredible talent across the league." But the defensiveness in her voice spoke louder than her words. Within minutes, clips of the exchange went viral. The hashtag #FireAngelberg exploded across social media, turning the commissioner into the face of the WNBA's identity crisis. Fans had grown impatient, and A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner suddenly found themselves dragged back into the storm. Angelberg's tone made it sound like she was defending them, rather than addressing the core problem. Even neutral sports analysts, many of whom had previously supported her, called her comments tone-deaf. The divide between league leadership and its new fan base had never been more obvious. Inside the arenas, the disconnect was impossible to ignore. Cameras kept cutting to empty sections, while broadcasters avoided wide shots entirely. The few fans who did show up were subdued, their energy swallowed by the echo of unfilled seats. It didn't feel like a championship. It felt like a dress rehearsal for a show nobody wanted to see. Angelberg's press conference only deepened the wounds. Her refusal to acknowledge Clark's absence as a major factor came across as arrogance rather than authority. The headlines wrote themselves. Angelberg melts down. Empty seats. Empty words. WNBA in crisis. It was no longer speculation. The league's leadership had lost control of the narrative. Officials scrambled to contain the fallout. PR teams drafted bland talking points, while social media staff flooded feeds with highlight reels, desperate to save face. Even insiders scrambled to steer interviews away from the embarrassing attendance numbers, but none of it worked. Fans flooded comment sections with side-by-side photos, packed fever games versus empty finals seats. You chased away your audience, one viral post read. Now you're playing for yourselves. Even younger players began quietly acknowledging the problem. Many were frustrated, tired of watching veterans treat Clark's success as a threat rather than a gift. One anonymously told reporters, "Caitlyn helped everyone. We all got paid more. We all got attention. Why are people mad about that?" That single, quiet statement said it all. The divide wasn't just between fans and management. It was between the old guard and the new era. Angel Berg attempted to patch things up, calling an emergency meeting with representatives from both finals teams, urging everyone to focus on basketball instead of narratives. By that point, the story had completely escaped Angel Berg's control. ESPN, Fox, and even independent YouTube analysts were dissecting the meltdown, calling it one of the biggest PR disasters in league history. Meanwhile, the numbers told an unforgiving truth. Game 1 ratings barely reached half of what the Fever's semifinal matchups had drawn. Analysts didn't bother spinning it. "Fans have spoken," one declared on a national broadcast. "They care about stories, not slogans." And right now, the WNBA isn't telling a story anyone believes. Inside both locker rooms, the players couldn't ignore the brutal data. Headlines blared the lowest finals ratings in a decade. It was demoralizing. A'ja Wilson, who had spent her career trying to grow the league's audience, reportedly broke down privately. "We did everything right on the court," she confided to a friend. "But it still feels like nobody cares." Desperate to regain control, Kathy Angelberg held yet another media briefing. Once again, she tried to highlight
positive growth and expanding opportunities, but the reporters had moved past buzzwords. The first question cut straight to the heart of the matter. Why are people tuning out? Her answer, "We're still in a great place," sounded almost tragically out of touch because the truth was undeniable. Without Caitlyn Clark, the finals were nearly invisible. Every attempt to downplay that fact only made the league seem disconnected from reality. Cameras lingered on smiling players, but the wide shots told a different story. Empty seats, a subdued crowd, a championship lacking energy. Game 1 will be remembered not for its winner, but for what it exposed. The WNBA's leadership had spent months insisting it didn't need Clark to thrive, only to discover she was the only thing keeping the league alive. Her presence had been the gravitational force holding the entire league together. And once she was gone, everything fell out of orbit. By the next morning, sports headlines were ruthless. Without Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA's pulse flatlined. Talk shows turned the finals into a cautionary tale of ego and mismanagement. "This isn't a basketball problem," one Fox analyst said. "It's an ego problem." Fans agreed. They weren't angry at the players. They were angry at the arrogance that pushed their favorite rookie out of the spotlight. On Reddit and X, petitions demanding Kathy Angelbert's resignation spread like wildfire, amassing thousands of signatures overnight. "The league forgot who brought us here," one post read. "Now it's paying the price." Sponsors were watching, too. Executives from major brands quietly reached out to league officials, voicing their concerns. They hadn't invested in controversy. They'd invested in momentum. One industry representative summed it up bluntly. "Networks are rethinking future deals." Without Caitlyn Clark, no one's confident the finals can pull the same numbers she guaranteed all season. In a desperate attempt to stop the bleeding, the WNBA's marketing team pitched a last-minute fan appreciation campaign. But by then, everyone knew the problem ran much deeper than advertising. This wasn't about branding, it was about trust. Fans no longer believed in the league's leadership. They felt betrayed by the veterans who mocked the very player who drew them in. What should have been a celebration of women's basketball had turned into a warning sign of its own collapse. A'ja Wilson's frustration, DeWanna Bonner's heartbreak, Kathy Angelbert's deflection, none of it stood alone. It all pointed to a bigger truth, a league slowly devouring itself from the inside. Because here's the thing, fans never abandoned women's basketball. They hadn't abandoned women's basketball, they'd abandoned the attitude around it. Fans didn't tune out because they stopped caring about the game. They tuned out because they were tired of the bitterness, the politics, the ego. They wanted joy, competition, and unity, the very things Caitlyn Clark had reignited, and the league threw it all away. By week's end, a new slogan was everywhere. Kathy must go. It wasn't a meme anymore. It was a movement demanding accountability. Sponsors quietly began reconsidering their investments. Networks trimmed airtime. Season ticket inquiries slowed to a trickle. What was supposed to be the WNBA's defining moment became its reckoning. The finals were meant to crown a champion. Instead, they exposed a broken foundation. Pride had failed. Spin had failed. Now, only humility and honesty could save what was left. As the lights dimmed over another half-empty arena, the message couldn't have been louder. The fans are still here, but their patience is gone. The WNBA didn't just lose viewers, it lost trust and direction. Until the league learns to embrace the one player who made millions care again, history will keep repeating itself. Every finals will feel the same. A championship echoing inside half-empty arenas, searching for fans who've already moved on. So tell us, why do you think the WNBA Finals became such a disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another update. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you in the next big breakdown.